What's up, YouTube? It is your boy JB, and I'm here today with the review for Tyler Perry's The Oval, Season 1, Episode 4, titled Rats Can Smell Poison. Without further ado, you guys, let's go ahead and just jump right into tonight's video. Alright, so the episode, it picked up where last week's episode left off. You guys, you remember, in last week's episode, Barry had the gun. Him and Richard were struggling over the gun, and boom, the gun went off. And I'm like, I figured it. I figured it last week. I'm like, that bullet might have hit the door. If anything, it hit the door or it hit Richard in the leg. But I was right. It hit the door. So Richard is telling Barry, like, you don't need the gun. What you need to do is you need to go back home to your mama, take your mama down with you to the police station so we can try to figure out where Callie is. And we're gonna talk about we're gonna talk about this in just a minute. This whole Callie situation, because it's really interesting, to say the least. Because from what I'm looking at, all this stuff is still transpiring within the same day, and so it's the same. So one event happened at night, and then we move into the next day, and we're gonna talk about why it's so interesting to me in just a second. So then we see, actually we heard this woman screaming, and it's like this blood curdling scream, and I'm like, what happened? And then I think I heard, if I'm not mistaken, I think I heard her say he's shot. I'm like, but who got shot? Because the bullet from that gun is the bullet did not go from metal to wood. It's stuck in that car, so I don't know who got shot, but somebody got shot, so she says. So then we see Miss Nancy. So Miss Nancy is still with Sharon. And Richard, well, actually Barry comes in before Richard. And Miss Nancy's apologizing to Barry once again. And then Sharon, he got mad at her because Sharon's getting ready to go to work, and he's like, wait a minute, so you going to work and my daughter's missing? Yeah, I'm going to work. But here's the thing though, Barry, you went off on her so badly in last week's episode. Like, I don't blame Sharon. Like, you were a complete asshole to her last week, and you are an asshole to her this week. But okay. And Miss Nancy's like, you know what, Barry, you need to go off on me because it was my fault. And like I said, he and Sharon are still arguing. And she's like, well, give me the keys to the car. He says, no, I'm not giving you the keys to my car. And Miss Nancy's like, look here, you just take my car. Go. So then Richard returns, and he has to get ready for work. And Miss Nancy asks him, like, what's going on? She's like, I can tell something is wrong. He says, I'm just worried about Callie. And she says, yeah, I'm worried about it too. And then he tells her, keep your eyes on Barry. And she says, I got you. So then we see Sharon. So Sharon is at work, and there's this old lady. She's getting her prescription medication, and I guess those glasses that she had on, she couldn't see because Sharon was trying to tell her what the directions are on her medicine bottle, and she's arguing with Sharon. And I'm like, wait a minute, why are we arguing about this whole medicine bottle? Like, she's a pharmacy tech, I'm assuming, and I'm assuming she's going off the orders of the doctor. So I don't know why that woman was arguing with her, but whatever. I thought that scene, they could have kept it. But what happened after the old lady left, she kept telling them, you need to get your shit together. What happened after she left was interesting. So the guy that works with Sharon, looks like they might have the thing with each other. Like, looks like he might have a thing for Sharon. And I don't know if Sharon has a thing for him, but I'm like, oh, something done happened here. Do tell. Do tell. So then we also saw Richard. So Richard, he went to the White House, and he's late. And then Priscilla's like, he's like, so where's the family? She's like, they're in there having breakfast. He says, has they mentioned anything? She says, no, that's the weird thing. They haven't mentioned anything. But little bitch Gail is changing her story. And, which we'll talk about that in a little bit, about little bitch Gail. And she says, I told her the story of Emmett Till. And he's like, why would you do that? Her family, what if she tells her family? She's like, they're not going to believe her. He's like, why do you say that? Because they haven't mentioned anything. Only thing they want is coffee. That's it. Coffee. So then let's wrap up this whole thing with Barry, Ms. Ruth, and all them. So we saw Barry and Ms. Nancy. Miss Nancy. So, they were at the police station. They were trying to get some help to try to find Callie. And then Barry showed that he has, custody of Callie. And then, they asked what affiliation is Ruth with. And then they say, and then makes a face, and he was like, "Why'd you make that face?" She says, "I'll be right back." So then, Miss Nancy once again is telling Barry, "Barry, you need to go off on me. Like, things are bad between you and Ruth right now because you want to go off on Ruth, not Ruth, Sharon instead of me." And he does go off on Miss Nancy. So then the cop comes back and she shows him a photo. She says, does Ruth have any scars or tattoos on her? He says, yeah, she has a tattoo. She has a tattoo named Barry right here. And she's like, okay, cool. So then she shows a photo. She's like, is this her? He looks at it. Where is this at? And then they show her. She shows them another picture of her, and it is Ruth in the morgue. So I'm like, wait a minute. So in 24 hours or less, Ruth is now dead. That does not make sense to me. So she kidnapped her daughter, bring the little children to me to take to her cult, but then she ends up dead and nobody knows where Callie is. This does not make a lot of sense. But we're gonna move on. I'm pretty sure we're gonna bring it back later, but that just doesn't make a lot of sense to me. Oh y'all, that Victoria is a piece of work. So Victoria, she walks back into the room where Hunter is, and there's a pillow. So she grabs the pillow and she puts it over his face. And I'm like, that's not a good. You're not doing a good job trying to suffocate him. And she did. So then, she's talking about the plans that she has. She tells him he needs to go. I don't know if he needs to go to the briefing room, to the Oval Office. I don't know where she's telling him he needs to go, but she was telling him he needs to go somewhere. And he talks down to her because he's the president and he knows that she has. This is almost similar to Fitz and Melly, because Melly had aspirations to be president, and it's just kind of, but it's completely opposite, complete opposite, complete opposite. And she says, you know what? Actually, he asked her how was Gail. She says, oh, so now you're the concerned father. And he says, but aren't you worried about it? She says, no. I'm like, damn, Victoria really hates that girl. And I don't blame her. So then, Victoria gets on the phone and she's looking on Instagram and she sees the side piece, posting stuff. And she's like, this bitch is still posting. And she calls somebody up and she says, I want to go shopping. And they says, well, ma'am, we can do it for you. She says, no, I want to do it for myself. So then we see the family and they're having breakfast minus Gail. I'm like, well, I mean, you can't win with that little bitch. So then Victoria asks Priscilla, do you know where my daughter is? She says, she's in her room. She says, can you go get her? Priscilla's like, oh, God. I just want to slap the shit out of that little girl. I wouldn't blame Priscilla one bit if she slapped the fire from Gail's ass. So Priscilla goes to Gail's room. And what is Gail doing? Gail is in her room taking selfies. And nude selfies at that. And she asked Priscilla, what did you see? Priscilla says nothing. She says, oh, you saw it. What did you see? And then she's like, what are you even doing here? She says, well, your mom wants you down there for breakfast. Breakfast. Is that what she said? Breakfast? She said it has a T at the end of it, bitch. So it's breakfast. I said, who the fuck she talking to? If I was Priscilla, I would have said, look her little bitch. You said it's a T in breakfast? How would you like to be missing your fucking teeth? Because I would have slapped all her teeth out of goddamn mouth. That little Gail's little ass would be gum. She would be just having gums in her mouth. Little bitch. I'm talking about it's a T in it, bitch. Bitch. Oh, I got your bitch. I got your bitch. And then she threw a pillow at Priscilla. I'm like, oh, Priscilla. Priscilla. I know she's an underage girl, but kids when they get out their place, when they step into a grown person's place, you got to knock them down a few pegs. And I would have knocked that little hoe down. So then, not Priscilla, but Gail wants to ask, so where is the butler's son? She says, I don't know where he is. And she said, well, he tried to rape me. She says, wait, so he tried to rape you or did he rape you? Your story's changing, huh? And she says, oh, so you don't believe me? It's raped with an ED at the end. But that's not what you said, little bitch. You said he tried to rape you. Last night you said he raped you. There's a huge difference between those two. There's a big difference between trying to rape someone and actually physically raping someone. But, since you're so smart, you should know that. So then, she told us the story about Emmett Till, and she said, I know about that. And then we see her researching, and obviously, your little ass did not know about it, bitch. And then she talking about how she can get her fired. I'm like, oh, I'm like, you know what? I can get myself fired too, just by knocking the fuck out of your dumb ass. Like that can get me fired, knocking you the hell out. But we're not gonna go there, are we? So, ooh, 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 Lord, help her, because it wouldn't have been me. Because it would not. I mean, I promise you, it would not have been me. I would have knocked the teeth out of that little tramp's mouth. Ooh, 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 ooh. Ooh, Lord, she would have got the biz to the ness. So, we do see the little bitch, and she joins her family, and Hunter is so concerned about her, asking, about Barry, and, she's like, huh? What are you talking about? I'm like, and Hunter, you're so stupid to not realize she was lying, because if she knew it, if she was raped, she'd be like, oh, she would be telling you everything, but she don't know what the fuck you're talking about. And Victoria's just sitting over there at the end of the table. She's laughing at him. She's like, keep your head up. Okay. So then Richard comes in, and he's pouring the coffee, and then Jason asks Richard who is. He says, oh, I'm the head butler. And that's when Hunter's like, oh, you're the head butler. So your son was here yesterday. What was he doing here? And, Barry, he was like, well, Barry's been here, since he was a kid. He's played with, the past two administration's kids. And nothing's ever happened. He says, oh, so you calling my daughter a liar? Yes, that's exactly what we're doing. We're calling Gail a motherfucking liar. So then, Hunter gets in his feelings and fires him. I'm like, really? Again, let's be logical. So, if Gail was said raped, Hunter, you're so. I actually have to agree with Victoria. You're stupid. Because if you were smart, you would have realized by now. When, remember, in what was it, last week's episode or the week before, when they were trying to do a rape kit on her and she refused to do a rape kit. The reason why she refused to do the rape kit is because she was not raped. And I don't know why Hunter's dumb ass don't see that, but whatever. And then, I just did not understand that shit. So then, Richard goes and tells Priscilla he fired him. And Victoria is in there and she's like, and I'm like, yes, Victoria. Slow clap for his dumb ass and for her. Because she really did that. And then Victoria's like, so you really going to continue to go through with this lie? And he's like, what are you talking about, Victoria? She says she lied. And he's, again, Hunter's trying to defend her. She's like, there are cameras in here. So if all you have to do is play those cameras back. And Gail's like, wait a minute, so there's cameras? She says, there are cameras. And then Gail says, he didn't rape me. And then Victoria tells Hunter, like, you fucked up and you need to go give him his job back. He's like, yeah, I know. I'm going to do it. I already know it. All right, you guys. So let's talk about Lily, Don, Bobby, and Kyle. This story right here is interesting. So we saw Lily and Don. They were, can't really say they were having breakfast because Don was just drinking coffee. Lily wasn't doing shit. Lily somehow, she has a meeting that she has to go to. This is Don's first day as chief of staff. Then their maid comes in with the phone to hand to Lily. It's Victoria. And Victoria is calling Lily because she wants to go shopping and she wants Lily to come shopping with her. And she's asking her, why can we to come to the inauguration? And something came up. So then, now Lily is going to get on my nerves with this part. So, like I said, it's Don's first day as chief of staff. So Lily wants Don to figure out what the fuck happened to Bobby. And I'm like, why do you care about Bobby? Like Don says, please let it go. So then we see that Kyle is there outside of their house. And he's like, I want to drive you to work. I'm like, Kyle is a creeper. Like single white female creepy. So, Don's like, you're not driving me to work. And what I'm going to do when I get to work is I'm going to have you reassigned to someone else to get you the hell away from me. So then we also saw Kyle. He's with one of the other Secret Service. I can't remember what his name was. I think it was Jerry or something like that. And then, they're talking about Bobby, who is out cold. So then, Kyle tells him, like, y'all, go away. I'll talk to him. So then he goes in there, and, again, Bobby's knocked out, and there's a camera in the corner. So Kyle goes and he clicks the button and turns the camera off, and then he bends down and he kisses Bobby on the lip, and Bobby says, "Don't ever kiss me on the lip." I'm like, I knew it. I figured when that episode when Lily was talking about his wife, he said, "What wife?" I'm like, this dude is not married. I'm like, I have a strange feeling this dude is gay. Like, I just had a strange feeling, and I think I'm right. He might not be he might not be straight, he might not be gay, he might be bi, because that. And then Kyle, Kyle is a perv. He grabbed his thing and he slapped his ass, and I'm like, oh, so y'all must have some kind of a sexual relationship. So what is this whole thing? So did you set this up? Because and then also Kyle was asking Bobby like what happened with Lily. He says, "Well, I didn't have sex with her." He says, "You're lying. I know you're lying because I had someone follow you." He says, "Well, if you had them follow me, you know what happened." "Well, you didn't have sex with her at the crib, but you definitely had sex with her at the airport." Because he's saying she never even acknowledged him. Oh, she acknowledged you all right. In a bathroom stall without a condom. She's stupid. But we're going to move on. All right, so let's close the episode out with Gene. This was interesting to me as well. So this was a pretty good episode. So Gene is going around, getting all the trays of, the first lady and the president, Jason and little bitch Gail. She's getting their plates of food. Now she goes to little bitch Gail's food, and Gail never ate it. And she takes it to Priscilla. She's like, she didn't eat it. She's like, rats can smell poison. And she's like, I was just playing, girl. I wouldn't have been. Just putting it out there. So, now before she actually went back down, she noticed that someone was looking at her, and who is it? Jason's pervy ass, and Jason is stark naked. I'm like, oh my god, like I would have got the fuck out of there. Like he is creepy. So then she told Priscilla what happened, and Priscilla's like, okay, well we'll call Sam and have Sam watch, but we're gonna have to get a man to clean his room. You think? So then, Gene does go back to his room, and she's like, can I help you, sir? He was like, yeah, I need some more mouthwash. She's like, well, I brought some in here, and it should have been in your bathroom. He's like, I didn't see it. She's like, okay, I'll go look. So she goes in there. She's like, well, here it is. And then, she says, do you want me to put it back? And she goes to put it back, and then when she goes to put it back, he done took his shirt off and standing right by the door. I'm like, oh my God, please don't let him do what I think he's going to do to her. But he didn't do it. He let her out the room. I'm like, oh my God, girl, run for the hills. Because this little dude right here is creepy as shit. He gonna have a lot of cases against him. A lot of rape. He's gonna have a Me Too movement all over his ass. But you guys, that was the Oval. So be sure to like the video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, hit that bell notification button, share the video, and I will see you guys later.